I want to, as quickly as possible, sum up what we did last class so we can all get caught up, get that turned in, and move on to what we're doing today. So, if we're looking in Google Classroom, it's PS Lessons 5 through 10. We're supposed to make a custom shape with a layer style, copy the layer style to another layer, select an area with a stroke, make a gradient layer, and then make a gradient within the selection. The text stuff I'm going to remove from this. We can do that later. Okay, so what we need to do is I want to increase my zoom here. So I'm just going to Command plus on here. Okay, so I can see it better. Now, I need a custom shape. Custom shape is hidden under the U tool. So I'm just pressing U to find what tool it might be hidden under. Right now it's an ellipse that it's hidden under for me. And it looks like that, a blob. With custom shape you can choose a lot of different shapes. You can even make it more broad by clicking that gear button. And now I can see all the custom shapes. So I'm just going to choose a squiggly arrow as one of my custom shapes. You can change the color. Oh, I hope I'm not on paths. I am on paths. Sorry. I wanted this to be a shape, so I'll do a shape. Change the color. Okay. And you can change the stroke. So just go ahead and just color, stroke. Okay. Let's do another custom shape. I want you to have 3. That way you have some different ones to work with. Go ahead and just change the color, stroke on those. Okay. And finally, oh, if I just click there, now it's going to pop a shape in there. Sometimes you can't click off in Photoshop. Okay, one more. Custom shape right here. Let's go with a badge. Okay. I'm going to change the fill again. Let's change it to a gradient this time. And, ooh, it has an opacity to it. Let's change the stroke to that. Okay. Now, we are going to apply layer styles. So let's just add a layer style to this shape 3 I have here. It will help you to rename your shapes. I'm going to call this one badge. I'm going to call this one pointer, and this one arrow swivel. Double clicking and we'll let you type. Okay, so I'm going to the badge layer and I'm going to add an effect. You can choose any of these. It's going to pull the menu up. You can see that that made a gray color overlay. You can change the color, which it kind of just changed my fill, didn't it? Well, let's undo that. Let's try satin. What does satin do? Well, satin applies something to it. To go there, I have to click this menu. Now, ooh, see different effects on that. Ooh, I like that. There's a satin gleam to it. It's on blend mode multiply. Let's try blend mode. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So I'll leave that. And I would like you to try a bevel and emboss. So let's go to the arrow swivel and bevel and emboss, because this is the one that's used often with text and stuff to make the edges stand out. You can see the preview here by having the preview window clicked. You can see it on your shape. Otherwise, you can just see what it would look like here. So I'm going to make it deeper. And I'm going to... and you can soften. You can change the technique. Ooh, I like that. That's good for an arrow. And then you can click OK. Now what you need to do is copy the layer style. So I'm going to right-click on that one, copy layer style. And I'm going to paste it on that green pointer. So here it is. Click the layer, click paste layer style, and now I have the layer style pasted. Okay, so we've got custom shapes, we've got layer style, selected area which has a stroke. So we need to go to our marquee tool, which is right here. You can get to it by M. And I just want you to draw a selection around something and add a stroke. So you just need to go to Edit, Stroke. And this is where we got stuck on Monday because you got to be on your background layer to add the stroke. So now, if we say Edit, Stroke, now we can add a stroke. And I want my stroke to be orange. Okay, and I can have it centered on that. I could have it on the inside of that or the outside. I'm going to make the width 3 so you can see. Inside it's going to go inside the box like that. Okay, and let's do one more. We'll do the elliptical tool on this one. We're going to circle the best school on the list. Okay, and I am going to go to Edit, Stroke, and I'm going to change this to red. Okay, and I'm going to put it on the outside this time just so you can see it. You can also change the opacity of it. Let's make it 90% so it's slightly see-through. Let's make the pixels even wider this time. Let's do 6. There you go. You can see it went on the outside of the marquee. It doesn't look very see-through, but it was 90%. You can deselect with Command D. Okay, now I got my selections stroked. Now I just need to add a gradient layer and a gradient selected area. Okay, so gradient layer. So to make a new layer, you're going to hit that layer button in the panel. And it came in right in front of my background and behind the others. So now I'm going to find the gradient tool, which looks like this. You can find it by pressing G. It might be hidden under your paint bucket tool. And up here you can select the gradient types. I'm going to go with that because that looks mighty cool. You can change your selection options with that gear, just like you did with the animals. And you can change within these by you can make a new gradient. Okay, let's just make our gradient. We'll worry about experimenting with it later. Okay, so you can see that covered my background, but that's fine because it's just a layer. It's not replacing my background. The gradient will follow your line, and these gradients are overlapping each other, so you're seeing it disappear more as I go. If I add this gradient, it's in multiply mode, so in normal mode it will look different. There. Okay. I have the gradient selected which has that shape to it. You can also do that one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay. Okay, and you can see it's multiplying these gradients. But I wanted you to make a gradient layer. I also wanted you to make a gradient in a selection. So let's try the selection. Let's make this invisible right now, and let's make a selection on here. And I would like to move this selection. Okay, let's move it somewhere that may make sense. Okay, right over the 2. I will now pick the gradient tool, and I'm going to change this to metals. Okay. And within the selection, I now have a gradient. And that's what I want to see in your picture. Now you can go File, Save As. You should always save it as a PSD. You can call it PS 5 to 10. PSD because that way you can edit it. And then save as JPEG. That way it's a picture. Save as JPEG. PS 5 to 10. Okay. And turn that into Google Classroom. So go attach the JPEG and the PSD file, and you're good to go. We'll work on text later. So